So before going to learn Linux administration, first we have to know the logical device naming conventions. So these are the logical device name conventions of different operating systems. So this is Windows. So Windows, the logical device names are like disk 0, disk 1, disk 2, disk 3. So any device which is attached to the system will provide two names. One is physical device name, second one is logical device names. So physical device names are referred by kernel, logical device names are referred by administrator. So we can understand the device names with logical SDA. So first disk in the Linux. So if you add another disk SDB, so STC, STD, these are the hard disk names. Like every device, whether it is a tape drive or CDs, DVDs, we have some logical device names. By using that names only, we are going to work. Like this is Solaris C0, T0, D0. This is IBM AX, HDisk 0. HP Unix also same like Solaris. So these are the logical device naming conventions. Because Windows, if you know or don't know the device names, you can work. Because that is a graphical user interface. So if you want to see the logical device name of a disk, so go to my computer, click on manage. Go to disk management. See here you can see the disk name disk 0. So in disk 0 we created C drive, D drive, E drive. So if you insert another hard disk 1, like this the logical device names in Windows, you can see here CD-ROM 0. This is the drive name. It's like every device has a logical device name, but if you know or don't know in Windows, that is not a problem. But while we are working with Linux operating system, we must know the names. So without knowing the names, we cannot work with the devices. So for that, we have the commands. We are going to learn those commands in our administration part. Next one, see the file system layout. They will ask the question in interview, what is the file system layout in Linux? Or what is the file system hierarchy? Or what is the structure of Linux root file system? So the operating system directory in Linux is slash. Slash is the root file system. Under slash only, we have different types of subdirectories. Windows, the file system layout is drive concept. So C drive, D drive, E drive, F drive. So that is the drive concept, but Linux tree structure. The main operating system directory is slash. Under slash, we have different types of subdirectories. See, every directory starts with the slash, means they are the subdirectories under slash. This is the Linux root file system structure. So now we are going to discuss the structure of Linux root file system slash etc. So which information located the configuration files location. So in Linux, all the configuration files are located under slash etc directory. Any configuration, system configuration files or server configuration files. So whatever it may be, the configuration files are located under etc. Next to slash bin, the binary executable files are normal user commands. So files creating directories, copying files, copying the directories, removing, like we have some commands which are used by normal user. So the normal user commands are located under bin directory. Next to slash sbin, the system administrator commands location. So bin directory, normal user commands. Sbin directory, administrator commands. So administrator can do any task in the server, but normal users cannot. So that is the reason normal user commands location is different, administrator commands location is different. So where the administrator commands are located, sbin directory. Next to slash usr, the system files location. So all the system related files in Linux located under usr. So usr means Unix system resources. System files are located under usr. Next to /lib, the library files location. So we can have some programmable files. Operating system is nothing but a collection of software programs. The related library files are located under lib directory. So in Windows, we can call as .dll files, dynamic link library. Here we are calling as a lib files. So the library files location is lib directory. Next to /opt, the third party packages location. So third party packages like IBM WebSphere, web applications, Veritas Volume Manager, Cluster, Net Backups. So the softwares which are not installed with Linux, those are called third-party packages. So we can download the packages from the internet. So depending upon the requirement of the server, you can install those packages. So where the third-party packages are located, they will ask the question OPT, other party tools. Next to root, /root. So /root is the home directory of system administrator. So every user must have a home directory. Without a home directory, user cannot log into the system. So in Windows, you can check the home directory. Go to C drive. Here there is a folder, users folder is there. Here you can check. Sasra is the home directory here. So all the home directories information location is in Windows located under C drive. There is a folder users. So in Linux, the system administrator home directory is located under /root. Next to /home, the default home directory of Linux users. So system administrator home directory is different. Normal users home directory is different. So as a Linux administrator, if you are going to create the partitions or user accounts, automatically the users home directories are located under /home. In Windows, see users folder. In Linux, /home. Next to /tmp, the temporary files location. So you can check in Windows your temporary files every 3 months or 4 months. We have to remove these files. Go to the run command, give %temp, %temp. You can check your temporary files. Sometimes the student will, my system is very slow, my laptop is very slow, means thousands of temporary files already may be located in your laptop. That is the reason it is going to be work on slow. So every 3 months or every month, you have to remove these files. So when you are opening the web browsers, when you are accessing the internet, when you are playing the games, when you are watching the movies, whatever it may be, whatever we are going to work on the systems, automatically background these temporary files will generate. So you have to remove these files. Only now which files are using, except those files, remaining all the files it will remove. Now these files still, now we are opening Skype, now we logged into the web browser. So background these files are working now. That is the reason they are not going to be delete. So every 2 months, 3 months, you have to remove the files. So like in Linux, when we are going to use the applications databases, so many temporary files will be generated. So these files are located under /tmp directory, not temp, here tmp. So all the temporary files are located under tmp. So every 6 months or 7 months, we are going to temp directory, we have to remove the temporary files. Next to /var, the system log files location. So whenever you are going to do work with your servers or any system, background log files will be generated. So as an administrator, you have to read the log files to troubleshoot your systems. In Windows, my computer manage, here go to event viewer, here you can see Windows logs, setup log, system log. So here you can read the log files. What is going on in your system? Any errors are coming. So we can easily identify and we can troubleshoot the errors. Real times as administrators, always we have to check the logs. What is going on the server? Which errors are coming? Which devices are attached? Which are removed? Everything you can have a log. When you configure the servers also, number of logs will be generated. So why your server is failed? See here. So error is there. So update not be installed because command line program files ADV reader. There is error. Like you can check the logs here. Like in Linux, all the logs are located under /var directory. So this is command prompt. That is the reason we are going to var directory. You can check the logs. Next /boot, the bootable files location. All the bootable files in Linux are located under /boot directory. Next to /dev. So just now I discussed the logical device names are located under dev directory. Logical device names referred by administrator. Physical device names referred by kernel. So logical device names location is /dev. Physical device names location is /sys directory. Remember this too. Logical device names location is /dev directory. Physical device names location is /sys directory. Next to /media, the removable media location. So removable media means CDs, DVDs, USB drives. When we required, we are inserting that. So when we don't want to use, we are removing that. So the removable media information we have to located under /media directory. So this is the structure of Linux root file system. So interview point of view, they will ask the question. So what is the compulsory partition to install Linux /? If / is corrupted, means operating system is corrupted. What about the information of these files? My users data is there. My log files are there. My bootable files are there. My third party packages are there. What about this data information? They will ask the question. That is the reason what they did. So with root is compulsory. This is the operating system directory like C drive in Windows. With the root file system, you can also select some optionals while installing the Linux. Those are called file system directories. So we are going to see what are the file system directories. With the root, you can select some optional partitions at the time of installation of Linux. These file system directories are, now see, /boot is a file system directory. With root, I can select /boot as a optional at the time of installation. /usr is a file system directory. Separately, you can create the partition. /home is a separate partition we can create at the time of installation. /opt, this is also a third party package. A separate partition you can create. /tmp, you can keep on separate partition in the disk. /var, you can also create one separate partition. But here, no need to select all the partitions in one system. Depending upon the requirement of your server, so you have to select the optionals, and 99% you are not going to get the chance to install the OS, because already by default the operating systems come inbuilt with the installation only. If interview point of view, if they will ask the question, so what is the compulsory partition to install Linux / which are the optionals? So we have to tell the optionals: boot, usr, home, opt, tmp, var. Why we are selecting optionals? If / is corrupted, if I am not selecting /home as a special partition, this data is also go. Like in Windows, if you create only C drive, your entire data under C drive, C is corrupted, your entire data will go. That is the reason what we did different partitions. C is separate drive, D is separate drive, E is separate drive. If C is corrupted, my D drive data is safe. I can reinstall the OS, I can get my data. C is corrupted, my E drive data is safe. I reinstall C drive, I can access the data. Like same in Linux, / is corrupted. My users data is safe. My third party packages are safe. My syslog files are safe. My system files are safe. My bootable files are safe. So for example, user management server you are going to set up. So options: boot /home. This is enough. Third party package manager server, boot /opt. So depending upon requirement of the server, you can select the optionals. And syslog server we are going to configure in real-time environment, /boot /var. Database server we are going to set up, /boot /tmp. Like that, Depending upon the server requirement only, we are going to select the optionals. No need to select all the optionals on single system. So requirement, depending upon the requirement, you can select the optionals. Remember these points. So the compulsory partition to install Linux is slash. With slash we can select optionals. So slash is corrupted, opt data is safe. Slash is corrupted, home directory data is safe. Slash is corrupted, my var files, log files are safe. Like, we can create the partitions. This is the structure of Linux root file system. Now, what are the different types of file systems? So every operating system works depends on file systems only. See, first question, what is file system? So a file system is a collection of files and directories stored in a defined format on the disk. So every operating system has its own file system. We have three types of file systems: disk based, network based, memory based. So if you take any operating system, for example, you can take your laptop, you install Windows. So while you are installing Windows, it will format your disk, whatever the space you selected. Means that is disk based file systems. So Windows file system is NTFS. You can check. Go to my computer, right click on the drive, click on properties. You can check the file system is NTFS. So like every operating system has its own file system. Like in our India, every state has its own language. Like that, OS level, every operating system has its own file system. So a file system is a collection of files and directories stored in a defined format on the disk. Every OS has its own file system. So we have three types of file systems: disk based file systems, network based file systems, memory based. So disk based file systems are used by disks like hard disks, CDs, DVDs. These are called disk based file systems. So examples of disk based: FAT, file allocation table. It is used by Windows old versions, Windows 95, 98, Windows Me up to Windows XP. We used FAT. In FAT, we have 16-bit, 32-bit file systems are there. So Windows operating system old versions, but nowadays nobody using FAT. So completely we are using NTFS. New technology file system. It is used by Windows servers and latest versions of Windows clients. Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10. We are using NTFS. Just now we seen the file system type NTFS. Next to come into next file system, ext2, ext3, ext4, XFS. Extended 2, extended 3, these are the versions. So these file systems are used by Linux operating system. So ext2, ext3, ext4, XFS. So now we are using ext4 and XFS file systems. But while we are going to discuss about disk management, I will show you how to format into ext3, how to format into ext4, how to convert the file system from CE to ext3 to ext4. We are going to discuss. Next to UFS, Unix file system. It is used by Solaris operating system. So Solaris operating system file is UFS, Unix file system. JFS, journal file system. It is used by IBM AIX Unix. IBM AIX Unix file system is JFS, journal file system. Next to HFS, high performance file system. It is used by HP Unix. Next to VXFS, Veritas file system used by Veritas Volume Manager software. So this file system supports by all operating systems. Like you can install in Windows Veritas file system. You can install in Linux, Solaris, AX, This is a third-party software for managing the disks. Next to UDFS, Universal Disk Format File System, using by our DVD ROMs. Whatever in our laptops we have the DVDs, that file system is UDFS. Next to network-based file systems. So these file systems are used by networks. For example, once we are working on real-time environments, we have the servers and clients. We have to share the data across the LAN. Whatever I have the data, I want to share to my clients. So DFS, distributed file system, it is used by Windows servers. Like Linux servers, we have Windows servers also. So Windows servers will use DFS file system, sharing the data across the network. So we have to configure that. Like coming to NFS, network file system, it is used by Unix or Linux operating systems for sharing the data across the network. So I have a server, I want to share the data of Java programmers, Java developers related data I want to share. So I can configure NFS server, I can share the data, I can give some permissions to the accessing the particular files. Next to CAFS, simply they can call CIFS, Common Internet File System. It is used by Linux or Unix operating systems for sharing the resources to Windows clients. So server is Linux, clients are Windows. I want to share MS Office software. So NFS only Unix to Unix, DFS only Windows to Windows, but Linux to Windows, you have to configure CIFS. This is nothing but a Samba server. We are calling as configure Samba server on Linux. You can share the data of Windows related softwares to all Windows clients in the network. Next to memory based file systems. These file systems are used by memory, like virtual memory. Physical memory means RAM. For example, whenever anybody bought a laptop or desktop, we are going to ask what is the configuration. So I can ask you, what is the configuration of your laptop? It means what is the CPU speed, what is your RAM size, physical memory, like 2 GB RAM or 4 GB or 8 GB. So like that, like physical memory, we can have virtual memory. So virtual memory means, so every operating system, some of the disk space can use as a temporary memory. It is called virtual memory. So Windows automatically choose virtual memory, but Linux, we have to create virtual memory, nothing but swap memory. We are calling as swap memory in Unix environment. So this swap we are going to create at the time of installation of OS. Windows automatically choose, but Unix or Linux operating systems, we have to select the swap memory. So this memory, while we are working with the databases, automatically it will utilize by the applications and database servers. So as a Linux administrator, always we can check the swap memory in the server. We can increase the swap memory. That is, we are going to discuss in our swap management classes. Next to TMPFS means temporary file systems. It is used by Windows or Linux for improving the access of the resources. For example, already I showed. So when you are playing games, when you are watching movies, background temporary files will generate. So temporary file system is more faster than disk-based file system. While you are installing the softwares also, directly that software will not install in your original location. First, they will store in temporary files, temp directories. From there, it will copy into our original location. So tempfs to improve the performance access of your resources. Now cacheFS, it is used by Windows or Linux to improve the performance of servers. So this is called like we have NFS server is there. For example, I am telling. So many clients they are accessing the requesting from NFS server. So many requests will hit on the NFS server. NFS server performance will decrease. So that is the reason we are going to configure cache NFS. So whatever the daily requests are there, not to directly go to NFS server, it goes to cache FS. So when the new request will come, then it goes to NFS server, it keep it on cache FS. Now cache file systems will improve the performance of servers. So these are the different types of file system. See, any operating system you can take, If we are known or unknown, daily we are working with these file systems only. So these are the file systems. So today I am starting to here. Tomorrow I am going to show you the installation of RHL 6 and RHL 7, both versions. So tomorrow we are going to see how to create a virtual machine. Like see, we have different RHL 6 weekend, RHL 7, RHL 6, Reddy had 7, RHL UK, some Windows server, like different virtual machines I created, different operating systems I installed. For example, I am powering on this Windows Server 2016. So this machine I can power on. Now Windows Server is powering on now. See this one. Now I can power on RHL. For example, RHL 6 weekend batch. Power on this virtual machine. Now RHL 6 is powering like this. So top of the VMware workstation, you can create multiple virtual machines. You can work with different operating systems like Windows you can install, Linux you can install, you can work with Windows, Linux, because we are going to work with multiple operating systems. So how to create a virtual machine, how to install the OS. Generally, for example, if you want to install operating system, what are the requirements? First, they will ask in general scenarios. So I want to install Windows or Linux. Now, what are the requirements? We need hardware. That is the reason we bought a laptop or desktop. Top of that, we installed Windows OS. Now, in earlier days, we don't have the virtualization technology. In that days, what we have to do, for example, my hard disk is 500 GB. First, I will install Windows. I can select 250 GB space. Remaining 250 GB, keep it empty. After installation of Windows, so we are going to put the Linux DVD. So Linux we are going to install. So both operating systems we can install on single disk. But when you power on the system, it shows the menu Windows, Linux. If you select Windows, Windows will boot. If you select Linux, Linux will boot. So here to install a OS, we need the hardware. But nowadays we have a virtualization technology. No need to disturb your laptop OS, Windows OS. Top of that install VMware workstation software. Top of that VMware workstation software, you can install number of operating systems. How many you required? Depending upon your physical RAM. So for example, if you have 8 GB RAM, you can power on 4 machines at a time. If you have 16 GB RAM in your laptop, you can power on 8 machines at a time. Now see here, I installed Linux. So I not disturbed my Windows OS. Top of that I installed on virtual machine, I installed the OS. This is the virtualization technology. So top of this virtualization technology, cloud implemented. So already here, see, we created so many virtual machine. Cloud, what we are telling, launch the instance, means they are powering on this. That's all. By using the cloud software, whatever the virtualization environment, we set up all the networking and virtual machines, they are powering on. That is nothing but launching the instance. So see, now I can have this. If you want to Windows Server, you can go to Windows Server. So Windows Server 2016. If you want to work with Linux servers, you can work with Linux servers. Like top of the virtualization, we can install multiple operating systems. You can work. This is virtualization technology. This is a host-based virtualization. So bare metal virtualization means that is the operating system. That virtualizations we have to log in from VMware vSphere client. This is bare metal. Like how you are installing Windows on hardware, how we are installing Linux on hardware. Like that we can install VMware vSphere hypervisor. Top of the hypervisor, cloud is implemented. See, this is through VMware vSphere client. So this is the server IP address. We can log in, we can work on the virtualization technology. So but here This is host-based virtualization. This is for practical environment. So multiple operating systems. We worked. Tomorrow, I am going to show you how to create the virtual machine. So here for our class, we are going to create a separate machine and how to install the RHL6. And we are also going to see RHL7 also. So installation, some slight differences will come while installing 6 and 7. So interview point of view, we are going to put the experience. So that is the reason both versions we have the same knowledge. So only 2 or 3 features are difference between RHL6 and RHL7. So this is Windows, this is Linux. Like you can power on multiple machines. While Windows Server classes, I will power on Windows Server. While Linux classes, I will power on Linux machines. So here we are going to see the commands now. To see the files and directories, to change the directory. So to see the OS, we are going to see the commands on which OS we are working, to check the host name, to check the IP address, to check the partitions in the disk, how many disks are there, how many partitions we created. So everything, everything we are going to learn in depth our Linux administration. Tomorrow, I am going to show you the installation of RHL6 and RHL7. So I will share the software of VMware Workstation and ISO images, and I can send through Google link, Google Drive link. You can download the softwares, you can install. That is a small software VMware Workstation with the key is there. Just 5 minutes or 10 minutes it will install. Top of that, tomorrow I will give the steps how to create the virtual machine. Click on file, new virtual machine. The steps you have to follow. Then you can install the RHL6. Then we can start the basic commands after installation. Okay, if you have any doubts, please ask me. These softwares I will send by link. ISO image and VMware Workstation. Do you have any doubts? Do you have any doubts, madam?